All right. Just for the record, we just wanted to get our monitor up and running. We called the a meeting to order, and we had the pledge, and then we'll go on to approve the agenda.
Move to approve the agenda.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, motion is made and second to approve tonight's agenda. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. On pages 1 through 4 of the minutes for our previous meeting from October 6th of 2025. I'd entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
So moved. Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, motion is made and second to approve the meeting, or approve the minutes of the previous meeting. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Public input. Hearing none, we'll go ahead with some unfinished business. The budget work session date, which we could not hold on Monday, October 13th, so we postponed that. Do we need to set another date to be able to hold that workshop session?
We have
Anything
this
we'd
week
like?
and next week.
Yeah, we have this week and next week. We'd like to do it before our first meeting in
Can we do it a
November.
week from today?
What?
Can we do it a week from today?
A week from today?
Just keep it simple.
Is that all right?
Monday,
Yeah.
27th?
I don't think
7
so.
o'clock?
Yep.
Okay, you want to make that a motion then, Will?
Make a motion to have our budget work session
I should have said Alderman Jones. Okay, who's second?
Yeah,
next
Okay.
Monday at 7,
the 27th?
the 27th at 7.
Okay, motion is made and second to have our budget work session date to, on Monday, what was the date?
27th.
October 27th at 7 o'clock. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Unfinished business number 2, we needed a correction there. The SPN invoices paid at the last meeting should have been invoices 34651.
Those are the incorrect ones.
Oh, those are the incorrect ones, and they should have been listed as 37020 and 37022. The first two numbers on there were incorrect, and we want to change it so the correct invoice numbers are put in place.
So basically, the 34651-34563, those were listed on the agenda, but within the packet and the list of bills, those invoices were correct with the 37020 through 37022. So the correct things were paid, we just need to make that clarification.
Alderwoman Harkins made the original motion, so if you wanted to amend your original motion, then that would
With
be.
the correct invoice numbers.
Yeah, okay. Let's see, you want me just to make the same
Yeah.
motion over again, or how should we do that?
Just amend the previous motion to show the change over to the new numbers. You're gonna list those
Now,
numbers.
I'll just look at this. Okay, so I'll move to change those numbers from 34651 to 34563 to 37020 and 37022 to be paid.
Second.
Discussion. Hearing none, motion is made and second to amend the invoice numbers for ESPN, or SPN. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. New business. Last week, Greg was here to talk about the neighborhood garage party on Saturday, November 1st. And this time, we just put it on the agenda to, with regard.
I'd make the motion to grant Greg Droz city approval of having a neighborhood garage party with shutting down the street as well. And
Second.
then use
Discussion?
of city ground
Yeah,
for
discussion.
parking.
Greg, do you want to come?
Some signatures.
Yeah, do you want to come up here?
Thank you, everybody, for doing this. I do have signatures from my neighbors, all but Wagner's, which they're out in the field.
Okay, all right.
I've got a text from Jeff and Marty Parmley And I think we could have done the same thing with Wagner's, but
All right. Well, I
would you
know,
like this?
yeah, no, just to add to the discussion, I know earlier today when I was up here, Dustin, Graham gave Greg a call and just to see if anybody had, he had contacted his neighbor, and this is just more or less, and Greg was good enough to go out and to indicate, get those signatures indicating that his neighbors were online with the approval of it, so. I think something Greg coming and asking us to do something of that sort, and he said he's visited with his neighbor, I think we know him well enough that he did so. But I also don't want to be in a situation where someone else comes in, we have
Right.
at least a means to request some type of consideration or just input from neighbors too as well. So, any other discussion? Greg, did you have anything
I
else to
know
say?
we discussed the parking over in the city lot just to the west of the creek.
Yep,
Oh, sure.
Is that okay then?
Yeah, because Ron didn't have a problem with it.
no,
Okay.
okay,
And we'll pick up any trash, the next day that is around or whatever.
sounds good.
Yep.
All right. We have a motion and a second to approve Greg Grove's request for a neighborhood garage party on Saturday, November 1st. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you, Craig.
Thank you very much.
You betcha.
guys.
Thanks, Greg.
Thank you.
Thank you.
New, item number 2 is the 2025 Quarter 3 budget review. Those are found on pages 8 through 8, and I'll let Cindy explain them.
So we'll do a high-level review, quarter 3 to date. Since I didn't have a lot of time to get this in on the meeting on the 6th, we'll do it tonight. Total taxes, we brought in $1,094,771 of the $1,583,500 budgeted. Which kind of dictates what we can and cannot spend for the rest of this year, depending on how much more we bring in on sales tax. Our first payment in October was a good one, so that gives me hope. If you go to the page where I have all of the general fund listed out with remaining expenses to be paid. Where's my flip here? Here we go. Oh, sorry, go back to page 5 real quick. I just want to note that note at the bottom. Originally, we started this budget with $216,000 of unassigned reserve type funds being used to balance the budget to help pay for those Phase 4 ineligible streets. That ended up being more. Can't remember how much more now, like $54,000 more than we anticipated. So that's that much less out of Ron's capital improvement line that he's going to be able to spend on other things if we want to keep that there. We have supplemented the budget with one ordinance so far to supplement the police department and the ball field for park lights. So just be aware that that negative 241, 661, 68 is actually 228, 906 because we over supplemented the ballpark lights. 12,755 of that needs to remain unexpended to be spent in 2026. But looking at what's going to be unexpended, if you look at that next spreadsheet, I don't feel it's going to be a problem with the number of general fund departments that are going to have budget left over at the end of the year and with the way sales tax is coming in. As of right now, it kind of looks like we might be short 25,000 from our budgeted 1.1 million in sales tax. But if you look at the contingency, that's 12,665, that if we don't have to use that to supplement any of the budgets for the remainder of the year, plus the capital outlay of 20,000 that needs to be unspent to save for next year's street equipment. And then you're looking at like the park. If we don't do trees, I mean, that'll end up with 23,000 left in that department. So there's areas where we'll be okay. We don't have to spend the whole budget.
Right.
Again, of the street department's capital outlay, 104,100 is remaining to be spent. We still need to spend 43,000 of that on Phase 4 streets. I know with the fire hall, Terry is still talking about doing the no parking signs, some crack seal. I'm not real sure what he has planned for the boiler, but if none of those things are expended, we'll have 16,900 left in that budget. So it just kind of depends, again, on how that sales tax comes in and what all we need to cut from this year's budget to make that all balance. But right now, it's not too concerning.
Good.
On page 7, the 211 fund, which is our gross receipts, is currently 10,800 in the black. Our 501 fund is negative 39,600 because we're still waiting on to get those final reimbursements from our DOT project on the airport project. 9,100 of that is federal, 509 is state. And then we're waiting for that next round of funding to come through for the next phases of the project that we've already spent engineering fees on. Page 8, the water fund, it shows negative 169,000 for the end of the quarter. That's because of the late submission for the drawdown request to get reimbursed for some of those Phase 4 expenses in the water fund. We did get that money. So if you take that into consideration, if that had been received in September, we would actually be positive $80,650 for the quarter. Electric fund looks good, and so does the sewer. And if there's any specific questions, I'll do my best to answer.
Anything? Appreciate the updated information too, and always nice knowing that where we are.
If the state had you working for them, we'd have our money in time, because you're thorough.
Okay?
Yes.
No other question. We'll move on to resolution number 2025-11 to convey land to the school, and I'll ask Alderman Price if he'd like to read that resolution for me.
Resolution number 2025-11, resolution of intent to convey certain real property. A resolution of intent to convey to Miller School District 29-4, Lot 2, Seagrin First Edition, less than north 110.96 feet of the south 172.44 feet of the west 30 feet in the northeast quarter of the southwest quarter of Section 11 in Township 112, north, range 68, west to the 5th p.m. West of the 5th p.m. According to the plat recorded in Book 9 Plats, page 33, subject to easements and reservations of record. Whereas the City of Miller desires to convey to the Miller School District 29-4 the following described property. Previously mentioned property, whereas pursuant to the authority vested in it by and in accordance with South Dakota Codified Law 9-27-29, the City of Miller desires to convey to the Miller School District 29-4 the above described real property to be used by the Miller School District 29-4 for school purposes, and whereas the transfer of said real property is in the best interest of the public, and now therefore pursuant to SD Codified Law 9-27-29, be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Miller, South Dakota hereby approves the resolution of intent to convey certain real property. Section 1, the city of Miller does hereby convey the real property legally described above by quit claim deed to the Miller School District 29-4, subject to the grantor reserving a perpetual easement for ingress and egress and for the maintenance and repair for all utilities, including but not limited to overhead electric power lines over the above described property. Section 2, the said conveyance of real property is made by the city of Miller to the Miller School District 29-4 upon payment of nominal consideration in the amount of $1 being provided by the Miller School District 29-4. Section 3, the mayor is hereby authorized and directed to sign the quitclaim deed for the certain real property and conveyed herein, dated this 20th day of October 2025.
Okay. I'd entertain a motion to approve resolution number 2025-11.
I move to approve resolution number 2025-11.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, motion is made and second to approve resolution number 2025-11. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries, and thank you for reading that. On number 4 is funding requests, and that's found on page 11. Because we weren't able to have our budget workshop or work session when it was originally scheduled, I would, unless you want to move forward, I'd maybe table this until after our first council meeting, after our budget work session.
Make a motion to table it until after the budget workshop.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, motion is made and second to table the fund request until after our budget work session. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Okay, item number 5 is the new pool project initiative next phases. Those are found on pages 12 and 13. And they deal with Phase 2, design development and construction documents phase, and Phase 3, the construction-related services. I would again ask Alderman Price if he would like to read through those two documents, if you would, please.
Compensation for Phase 2, compensation for basic services for design, development, and construction documents. Phase and for all bid alternates shall be 7.95% of the construction cost plus reimbursable expenses for the scope of service for design, development, and construction documents phase. Site survey, measuring, and verification of existing facilities and soil boring shall be performed as additional service. Compensation for Phase 3, compensation for basic services for construction-related services phase and for all bid alternates shall be 3.95% of the construction cost plus reimbursable expenses for the scope of services for construction-related services phase.
Okay, thank you again.
Simplifying it, this is the next two phases we have to do in order to start going to bid, to get an actual bid numbers coming back on the project. That being said, what we estimated what it's going to cost is roughly $500,000 to complete these two phases. So we will have to spend that $500,000 that we have invested with SD Fit. It's been through one interest period already. We reinvested it, but we might have to pull it out to keep going on this. If we don't do this, there will be no way that we will make the thought timeline that we kind of workshopped as far as optimistically start late summer of '26. So I thought it might be a little bit quicker process, but it's looking like this is gonna be like more of like a 4 to 5 month process to get through these phases, for them to come and get already engineering drawings done to actually be available for contractors to bid.
Okay.
What are reimbursable expenses?
Travel,
Yep.
meals, that kind of thing.
Gene?
And those are list itemized of how many visits are included in each phase in the contract.
We know roughly what that amount will be.
Yep.
That's not just an abstract.
Yeah, so that percentage wise is going off of our engineered estimate, so you add up this percentage, what do we figure, it's 8. So if we take off some of the bid alternates we already know, the engineered estimate would be 5 million. So that percentage, knowing the percentage of what the total engineered estimate is, then we know it's gonna be right around that $500,000 range.
Yeah, I get that part. I just meant it says that plus reimbursable expenses, and I just wanted to know if we had some sort of dollar amount as to what we thought that portion of that would be, or if there's if that's the $10,000 thing or $50,000 thing. Is that?
I don't know what they base their formula off of, what numbers they use to calculate mileage, let's say. And I don't know what the going rate is for meals,
But that's what it is.
or even lodging.
That's what it is meals, lodging,
Yeah.
mileage.
Yep.
And there's not very many trips planned in these
No.
phases.
No.
It is more, I want to say that, I don't even know if there is a trip
They might have
planned.
one site visit to come.
Right, because we've already had one a previous site visit originally that none of us were approved, but then we already had a site visit by the engineer that was already in Pier, that come and met. So I don't even know if we have a site visit plan for going to bid. Maybe one, but it's listed in the contracts that we can go through with, but, 90% of the trips were planned during the actual construction phase of the process, which I think was phase 5 or 6.
I'd have to drop or pull up the proposal
And
to
it's-
know for sure.
Right, but no, it wasn't, we read through all the site visits and it was 90% of them were during the construction phase and not during the actual, earlier phases.
Anything else?
But Patrick is right. Most of our money is locked up right now. I know a majority of it is in CDs with the Wellness Foundation. I just put a lot of money in CDs before September so we could get our best interest rate. But we can pull money from SD Fit. We just have to sell our shares to get out what we need. But full maturity on SD Fit isn't until September. And we do have a general fund CD maturing in February. But by that point, I'm sure we will have had a few invoices on these next phases. So,
And the requirements to go to bid was it 75 or is it 80?
80%.
80%. You have to be funded 80% before they'd even allow you to go to bid, so, and we are right there,
We are like right there.
so.
I say, pull whatever money we have to stay on track.
Yeah.
Because if we don't, if you're gonna push out that bid date, those contractors take
could be-
bids pretty
you could
fast.
be pushing out.
really. Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, every year.
right.
And realistically, I'm kinda hoping for a different number that comes back out of bid, we don't know that, but we all know what engineered estimate numbers are like.
Yeah. Well, this give us more of a specific number that we, that we can shoot at, other than just more or less this, kind of the speculative. And I'm sure it's gonna be within the range, but just,
Right, we get a bid, then we can choose to
Yeah.
award that bid, and that's the number that we're
Yep.
gonna have to pay.
Yep.
As long as we don't change anything and do a as-built contract, but, so.
okay?
But now it's time to spend money, so I've done the research, now it's everybody else's discussion time on that.
Any other questions or anything? So we want to entertain a motion to initiate phase 1, or phase 2 and phase 3 of the agreement, moving forward with the pool? Is that what we want to do?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, motions are made and second to move ahead with Burbach Aquatics for our pool project, regarding Phase 2, design and development and construction documents, and Phase 3 for the construction-related services. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Okay, some question with regard to non-registered motorized vehicles on the streets. I was doing some research, but I understand Alderman Price, had this on the agenda, so I'll just refer it to him.
Several times in the past, people have come to the council and in private meetings of regarding unlicensed vehicles on bike paths, but then also that goes along with that on the street as well. And Ted just kind of doesn't know which way to go because there's certain laws for certain things. So we just needed to get the council's decision on how we want to do this. Because it is regarding mopeds or anything over 50 cc in town, and then also under, and if you go under, then you're starting to get into golf carts as well. So I just put it on there so we can get the city's impression of what we want to do and directive for Ted and the police department on, are we going to exercise certain laws, or are we not making a stance on it? We just have to make a decision, so Ted has some directive.
Well,
Regarding golf carts, South Dakota codified law more or less speaks to highways and not anything about municipalities. So like Mitchell and Huron, what they do is they say they have a city ordinance of it's allowed, but you need to have a golf cart permit and you have to have a driver's license in order to operate that in city limits.
And there's a state statute that allows them to do that for golf carts only?
It gives the power to the municipality on the municipality streets. They really only talk about highways that I saw as far as golf carts go. There's rules on electric scooters and bikes on sidewalks and stuff like that that does not permit it. It is a giant gray area of the codified law, and it's already been established that the bike path, even if Ted wanted to write a ticket for it, state's attorney's not going to prosecute it, so he's not gonna write tickets for stuff that's not gonna get prosecuted.
And the main reason he can't get it prosecuted is because it's outside city limits, it's not enforceable by city ordinance?
Right, and then
Or-
there's,
I think it is, Elton just doesn't want it.
And
He said he isn't going to prosecute it, so there's no reason to write the ticket if it's not gonna, if
right,
he isn't gonna prosecute it, it'll get thrown out every time by the states too,
right, so,
was my understanding.
yep, I agree with that, cause there's two readings on that from different agencies at the state level. Some say yes, some say no, so it's back to that gray area. But then that coincidentally brought it into city limits, so he's just asking me, he's like, what do you guys want me to do? So, do we have any opinions one way or the other? It's been about a month. We skipped the next meeting because we had so much on our last meeting, so it got pushed back to this. So it's been a little while since we had them meetings, but
My opinion is that we follow in the lines that the state has used, where if you're gonna operate a motor vehicle on the streets, it needs to be registered. And if you can't register it, that means you can't ride it on the streets.
So that's like lawnmowers and mopeds and.
There's specific exemptions in South Dakota codified law for mopeds. There's some speed restrictions and what is applicable and what isn't. Chapter 32 goes over the handful of types of vehicles that are exempt from there. I think if we just follow in the way that the state is doing it, I don't see how you can go wrong with that.
So we could essentially write an ordinance to reflect exactly what the state does, pass it so that the police department has something to enforce. Or can he just go off of state law on city streets?
That would be my suggestion. That seems like the most simple way to do that.
We can do some more research on it, on exactly if we're gonna actually change an ordinance
Yeah,
to get it worded right, but, or if we don't have to do an ordinance, just, it's come up several times and Ted asked, what do you guys want me to do?
yeah.
So that's just us giving him directive on enforce or not enforce or stuff like that. And then all the extra stuff that's collateral and anything as far as the lawnmowers and the golf carts and stuff. So.
But when we do move forward, you know, we want to be specific so everybody understands that this is not allowed and these items are exempt. You know, we just want to, you know, have good clarification.
So are we worried that if something does happen with these non-registered vehicles being on streets, let's say there's an accident, is the one in a non-registered vehicle automatically at fault?
Oh, we could require that they have proof of insurance too.
That's what Mitchell and Huron do, where if you're gonna drive in town, you have to have a permit and you have to have, insurance, proof of insurance on
So in
the
order to get a vehicle insured, it has to meet certain criteria with the insurance company? Or how does that work?
I think a lot of insurance companies are not gonna issue a certificate of insurance for a lot of these vehicles.
on liability.
My insurance company says my golf cart is only insured when it's on my property or a golf course. If I go down the street with it, I'm uninsured.
So if you have an accident with it, you're automatically liable for
Yeah,
anything and
I would
everything
guess I'd be
arising out
liable
of that
For no
accident?
insurance,
If
is
you were
that-
at fault.
yeah,
Yeah, if somebody runs into you,
yeah.
you're not gonna be liable.
That's why I don't drive mine on the public street.
Other than parades,
Uh,
other than parades.
yeah, other than parades.
All right, do we want to do a little bit more?
That's fine.
I
It
think
just
so.
got pushed back from a couple weeks ago,
Yeah.
just to see what the council's
Yeah.
directive was.
And that's what I appreciate. Sometimes that, you know, somebody comes forward with a question or concern, and, you know, we may not address it right away, but we are trying to ask questions and gather the information so we can move forward one way or another with regard to the information that was given us, or the request we have, yes. So, okay? All right. Okay, moving forward on item 7 and 8, this is more or less for informational purposes. On item number 7, the Health Pool of South Dakota, the 2026 health insurance premiums, along with item 8 is the Delta Dental of South Dakota, 2026 insurance premiums. And those just more or less, like I said, for informational purposes, if anybody has any.
Yeah, it's basically for information, to know how much more we're gonna be spending overall and by department for health insurance. And then I just threw in the Delta dental rates as well. Those are the only two that are increasing as of January 1st coverage, so it'll be effective with our December payrolls. It is gonna affect this year's budget. But yeah, I just ran a quick little chart of comparison from 25 to 26, what that difference is per month. And then the city pays 100% for a single policy, everything else is 50%. So that boils down to about a $20,000 difference in budget for 2026, for just the health piece.
And did we know that before we did our budget?
This
Planning.
just came,
It
it's
just,
dated October 6th.
So now we gotta find another 20,000?
No, I budgeted for a 10% increase automatically.
Okay.
Just because I know that's about what it's gonna be at, or usually it gave you enough cushion, but it's like right at that
Okay.
10% this time, so,
So we did plan for some of the.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
okay? Anything else? Then I entertain a motion to approve the bills.
So move.
Second,
Discussion? Hearing none, motion is made and second to approve the bills submitted. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Okay, entertain a motion to go into executive
Abstain
session.
from the bills vote.
Okay. Entertain a motion to go into executive session for personnel pursuant to South Dakota Codified Law 1-25-2. 1,
So moved.
Second.
discussion. Hearing none, motion is made to go into executive session. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
At 7:37 p.